If you ask 10 people what their favorite game of 2019 is, you'll likely get 10 different answers. We saw everything from conspiracy-laced adventure romps to mind-bending indie gems to sublime remakes of legendary titles. It wasn't just a year when there was something for everyone, but more impressively, something new for everyone. So it's continually baffled me that so many of you nerds and your moms seem to have labeled the year a misstep. News and leaks about the Xbox Series X and PS5 have dominated much of the year's news, yes, but in the spaces between, studios have released a handful of legitimately brilliant video games. In some ways, these 12 months felt almost like an extension of the 2018 year of our Lord Danny DeVito.
Hello!
By that I mean that 2019 was defined just as much by its indie titles as by its AAA tentpoles. But even more so than 2018 and any other year really in recent memory, 2019 felt like the year when studios weren't afraid to get weird. And in this case, no other game can embody Exhibit A better than Death Stranding. Say what you will about Kojima Productions' first outing as a collective group. Call it vapid, call it brilliant, call it groundbreaking or downright terrible. There's an argument for each of these, and for the better part of 2019, those conversations, aka fistfights, permeated the internet, even before the game released. But one thing nobody seems able or willing to refute, Death Stranding is bold. It's an art house indie game with a AAA budget from the guy who has long been synonymous with video game auteur, and guess what? You'll spend most of its 60 to 70 hours walking around delivering packages and lobbing urine grenades at ethereal shadow beings. I severely dislike Death Stranding myself. I've made that clear on numerous occasions. But I can't deny, it rocked the boat. And whether I like it or not, it will be the game many of us associate with 2019. Here's hoping Sony continues to fund such eccentric projects. Just make them a little better. Next, in the arena of weird, 2019 will forever go down in history as the year we finally received an answer to that age-old question. What kind of game do you make after you've dabbled in time travel, police dramas, television experiments, and the Stephen King School of Horror? You make Control, dummies! Remedy Entertainment has been pumping so much bizarre out of Finland for years now, I wouldn't be surprised if you could see the studio from space. Control combines conspiracy theories, brutalist architecture, and the X-Files reruns to such effect that obsessive players are still active daily on Reddit. They're unfolding the mysteries Remedy hid for them, and in some cases, imagining some that probably aren't actually there. Elsewhere in the what drugs were these developers taking when they made this game and where can I get some and do they accept layaway department, we have Baba Is You. Puzzle games need a strong identity to separate themselves from the pack. Baba Is You does this not with clever platforming or drastic shifts in perspective, but by toying with language itself. By arranging troglodytic sentences, yes, I had to Google that, stop interrupting me, you actually change the rules to get where you need to go. It's a clever, subversive take on a genre built around rigid rule sets. For many players, Baba Is You seemingly came out of nowhere, and it was not the only game to do so. Some of the year's best games released to little initial fanfare, only to punch everyone in their enjoyment bones as reviews rolled in. Count A Plague Tale: Innocence among that crowd. It's Focus Home Interactive's first original title since 2008, and it cites, of all games, The Last of Us as its chief inspiration. Whether because of the studio's decade of relative silence or the caliber of the game it was trying to live up to, it came as a surprise to learn that Innocence is good. It's very good. It's a gorgeous, moving adventure through a decaying medieval France. It tells a poignant story about siblings, death, and family bonds, and it's well worth checking out if you've ignored it thus far. The same goes for Void Bastards, one of my personal 2019 favorites. I made an entire video about how well it combines the shooter, strategy, and roguelike genres, and how it stands on the shoulders of giants to reach something altogether fresh. It's vibrant and chaotic, and belies an intelligent set of survival systems and planning strategies. To modify that age-old idiom, fans of the genres will find plenty to love here. And speaking of genres, CRPGs got a major shot in the arm this year in the form of Disco Elysium. The isometric role-playing game puts you in the wingtip shoes of a bloated detective whose life is, to put it lightly, falling the f*** apart. But like any good train wreck, things tend to get more interesting the farther from the rails you get. Disco Elysium is a beautifully written, secretly heartfelt game about everything from capitalism to the intricacies of human cognition. What's more, it made us all feel better about the one time we fell into the toilet hungover and splashed around for like 9 seconds before just giving up and lying there because it wasn't actually all that bad. How many games can bring empathy from a situation like that? Sekiro can't, but there's a lot Sekiro can do. It can combine expert level design with vibrant Japanese historical fiction. It can create some of the most rewarding combat encounters of the Soulsborne genre, which From Software itself created, of course, resulting in a game that breaks you down before building you back up. It's GameSpot's collective #1 game of the year, and we made a whole video about how good it is. Quickly, before I end the video, I have some loose ends to tie up. A. Resident Evil 2 Remake is a masterclass in how it balances homage with momentum. I could have spoken more about it, but chances are you already know how good it is. 2. Respawn Entertainment continues to be one of the best devs in the biz, releasing the extraordinarily good Apex Legends and branching out of first-person shooters with the extremely solid Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. D. Call of Duty is better than it's been since the first Black Ops. F***ing fight me. Now, it's time to end this video. And to be honest, I'm having trouble doing so. It was a long year full of wonderful games that I got to cover, and even now, I feel like I'm cheating hundreds of talented developers who made them all a reality. To narrow my list down to 10 games, let alone one, doesn't just feel reductive, but feels like an active obstacle as I sit here and finish this script. But like I said, GameSpot already picked a #1 game, and a great game ended up winning. But this is my video, and in this world, I'm the one in charge. So I'm going to wrap up everything by recommending, wholeheartedly, if I have to pick one game that you should play from 2019, I'm gonna go with my favorite. It's Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds begins on a charming planet populated by friendly aliens and covered in evergreen trees. It then gradually expands into a story about an entire fucking solar system. It's a marvel of world building and level design, and how the two can intersect in revelatory ways. It houses clever puzzles and intelligent detective mechanics. It harkens back to classics such as Majora's Mask and Myst, and it does them justice 10 times over. It stresses the importance of time, death, hope, rejuvenation, knowledge, curiosity, and wisdom. And by the time the credits roll, you'll be thinking about the universe and your place in it and how you got to where you are right now, and you'll fall in love with video games all over again, and you'll have the wizards at Mobius Digital to thank for it. I'd apologize for the hyperbole, but honestly, I'm not being hyperbolic. Outer Wilds is that good. I don't have much to say as we wade into 2020, but as this video and 2019 wrap up, I can say one thing with certainty. You should play Outer Wilds.